So I was glad to see Carton flip his little ass in the air. And I also want to say this. If Aunt Viv cheats with Reed, I am going to be devastated. What's up, guys? So can we have a little conversation, please? So I gotta get some of this off my chest. I gotta air some of my grievances about this show. So if you already read the title, I'm doing a recap of episode 7 of Bel Air. If you haven't checked out Bel Air yet, stop this video, go watch the show, come back, because there's gonna be some spoilers all up and through here. So I'm just putting that out there. So the grievance that I want to air about this show is the fact that I am completely obsessed with it. I'm like one of those types of people that watch TV and I get so like engulfed in it, like it stresses me out to a point, literally causing me stress and heart palpitations after watching. And I really feel like I should have started doing these recaps at the very beginning of the season, but this last episode has like kind of triggered me, and like I've never done show reviews before, but I felt like I needed to sit down and just kind of like get some of the things that I'm thinking off my chest to see if anybody out there agrees with me. So that's why I'm here. And if you like this video at any point, just drop a comment below. Let me know you want me to continue doing like show recaps, show reviews. I actually really enjoy it because, again, like if I like a show, I'm going to get so engulfed in it that like it becomes a part of my life. So if you're watching this, you've probably already seen the show. You've seen what happened, what transpired for Will to end up in Bel Air. You know exactly what happened with the reason why he moved and like what happened following the move. You probably love the interaction between Lisa and Will. You probably hate the interaction between Will and Carlton, like completely hate their interaction. You already understand a lot of this stuff, you know, so it ain't no need for me to just kind of go back and talk on that. I want to start specifically with episode 7. So the title of episode 7 is called Payback is a B. And the synopsis reads basically, Will and Carlton throw a house party at the Banks mansion when Phil unexpectedly shows up at Viv's art event. Their relationship is shaken by a lack of trust. Hillary stands up to Kylo after he posts a video of her without her consent. Even that's a very vague explanation of everything that went on in last night's episode, and I would describe it really as like anticlimactic. And the only reason why I say anticlimactic is because nothing stressed me out. Nothing raised my heart rate. Like it didn't stress me out at all. But I feel like last night's episode was very, very necessary because it helped develop what's to come of the plot, and I feel like it left us with a lot of questions. And so it was a really good episode. Like I'm not even taking that away from it. I'm just saying it was a very tame episode, you know what I mean? So the first thing I want to talk about is Carlton. I'm really starting to come around to his character. At the beginning of the series, even into like the first 5 episodes, hated his guts, hated everything about Carlton. I'm starting to come around to him a lot more, especially after like last episode, with his spiral after like overhearing Will and Lisa have the conversation about Lisa being tired of catering to him, and just how like Will was there and you saw like that vulnerable side of Carlton when he broke down with Will, and really like allowed Will to just be a cousin in that moment and just kind of comfort him in that moment. You can really understand where he's coming from. And I really loved in this episode how he's standing up for himself and standing up for what's right with how he handled the Connor situation, because let's be clear, Connor was giving big Karen energy like the whole episode. I was glad to actually see Carlton stand up to him. Like I think the trigger for him was when Connor was like, good to know that this is the only sport that y'all can't take from us, like you racist asshole. So I was glad to see Carlton flip his little ass in the air, break his shoulder, arm, or whatever he broke. But I hated to see that, like, because of that, Carlton ended up losing people that he considered close friends. It was really good during that party scene to see Carlton stand up to him as well, especially after that conversation with Aisha, but I'm gonna get into that in a little bit. But yeah, like, so I'm starting to come around to Carlton, and it was good to actually see him apologize to Will when they were having that heart-to-heart. Just a moment of Carlton experiencing a little bit of what he put Will through. Now he understands. It was still good to see his apology. But that brings me into getting into Carlton and Will. So it was really good seeing Carlton and Will kind of develop a closer bond or a closer relationship. And especially after like that scene from last week's episode. First of all, let's talk about how loyal Will is, because it was really dope to see like Will covering for Carlton, especially in like last week's episode after he caught Carlton in his spiral with his Xanax in his closet like he always do.
I see you got on your May outfit like you always do.
But it was good to see him cover for him and just like remain loyal to him after that, because when he had the conversation with Lisa at the end of the party, she was like, I wonder what happened to Carlton. And Will didn't even throw him under the bus. He was basically just saying like, you know, he wasn't feeling well, but this was his idea. He didn't want to leave you hanging. Oh yeah, so and another thing I wanted to mention, I'm filming this part after I finished the video. I love seeing how Will was willing to help Carlton out of his rut, but how much of that was genuine and how much of it was guilt? Because for me, it's like, are you doing this because you dating Lisa now and you kind of want to smooth things over with Carlton before you even tell him? Or were you really genuine with wanting to help him regain or rebuild his social status? Like, which one is it? And then you went out of your way to try to hook him up with somebody else, Aisha, just to make things easy. So I was left wondering that. I'm not saying that Will isn't a genuine person, because I think that he definitely is, but like, it just makes you wonder, right? And I really think that Will is very considerate of Carlton's feelings. Even though he doesn't necessarily completely understand him, he's still considerate of like how his actions might affect Carlton. And it's almost to his detriment when it comes to actually building a meaningful relationship with Carlton. But I think that him being so considerate of Carlton is really going to be the downfall of their relationship, especially because he really neglected to tell Carlton that him and Lisa are officially in a relationship. And which leads me into like my next topic. I want to talk about Lisa and Will. So at the very end of last episode, you know, we kind of see Lisa and Will saying like, hey, look, I want to be more than friends. Like, what's good? And that was beautiful to watch. But we also found out at the end of last episode, Fred, which is Lisa's father, is launched his campaign against Uncle Phil as district attorney, which is obviously going to cause some tension between Will, the Banks family, Lisa and her family. But it was kind of heartbreaking at the beginning of the episode to hear that both Uncle Phil and Fred have both told Lisa and Will to kind of distance themselves from each other, at least while the campaign is going on, which is understandable. But at the same time, I feel like Lisa is essentially a part of the Banks family, you know what I mean? So it's gonna be difficult for her to do that, because honestly, it just really feels like that's her only support system, because here he go, all he's worried about is his wife, and not necessarily worrying about how Lisa is adapting or adjusting to them being together, being married, expecting a child. Like, a lot is going on. So of course she's gonna feel strained from that, but then she's in this new relationship with Will, and like seeing them like run around and have to hide their relationship really sucks. But they both came to the understanding that they should tell Carlton like what's going on, because he deserved to know. But again, Will, being super considerate of Carlton, kind of pushed it off until eventually Carlton ends up essentially finding out. And I really think that they care about Carlton a lot because of a lot of the conversation that they had, you know, when Lisa was bringing up the fact that Carlton deserved better and he deserved to know and to hear it from them and not find out on his own like he did. And then you had the conversation with Lisa trying to explain to Will Carlton's experience living in Bel Air, being like one of the only black people in the neighborhood, in the school, and having to like navigate his finding his identity, and then also navigating like the blatant racism, the microaggressions, just everything that you have to deal with growing up there. So it's obvious that they care a lot about him, but a lot of their actions, especially for him on the outside looking in, I can understand why he feels the way he does, because it seems like they don't care anything about his feelings. And I think it's really messed up and it's really foul, the fact that Lisa and Will are dating. Even though I believe that they have a really true and genuine connection and it's beautiful to watch, I just think it's foul because that's Carlton's ex. That's your cousin. Like, you living in the same house with this guy right now. That's your cousin, bro. Like, that's your cousin. That's his ex. Like, that's just a line that shouldn't be crossed. And I really hate that they wrote that storyline into the show, because why not just have Carlton have a crush on Lisa and then Will end up dating her? Why did he have to be, or why does she have have to be his whole ex. You know what I mean? And another point is, it's crazy that it seems like Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv are okay with Will dating Lisa. No, given the fact that they're Carlton's parents, they know about Lisa and Carlton's relationship. So like, it's just foul to me that they seem okay with it. They're speaking to Will like it's okay, or they're supportive of them having a relationship, just not at this time because of the campaign. Like, to me, it should be like, no, that's your cousin's ex. Like, to me, that crosses the line. Leave that alone. There's plenty of other girls out there, but I feel like all of that's not gonna even matter too much anymore, because Carlton and Aisha could potentially become a thing, which I am so here for. But before we get into Carlton and Aisha, I want to talk about the intimate scene that Lisa and Will had. I thought it was really beautiful. It was really genuine and pure, but I really don't like the fact that Will essentially lied to Lisa about his reason for coming to Bel Air. I can understand why, but at the same time, I feel like even if not tell the entire truth, tell some portion of the truth. You know, like, my mom wanted me to come here to just kind of get away, get outside a bit of Philly. You know, there is a lot of stuff going on in Philly. I was finding myself getting wrapped up in a lot, and you know, we just decided that it was better to move out here. Cool, because you ain't got to get into the whole being arrested. You ain't got to get into the fight situation. It's trouble. It was trouble out there for me. I needed a new change of scenery, so we decided that it was appropriate for me to move here. Like, tell her something, because I feel like if Lisa finds out that Will is lying about his reason to move to Bel Air, then that's going to cause an issue. That's going to cause a rift between them. Like, that's going to destroy their trust, and she obviously trusts him enough to feel that it's okay to give her body to him. And so I just really felt like, you know, just be honest, Will. Just be honest, or at least tell a partial truth. Even though it's not the whole truth, at least tell her something, so that way when she finds out, it's not as much of a shock. I just came here for a better education. Like, what? Like, y'all couldn't come up with nothing better than that? Moving on into Carlton and Aisha, I think that's so dope for him. Like, I love that. I love the fact that Carlton has somebody that is going to call him out. He was butthurt for real over Aisha calling him out. You don't associate with us, so we consider you a sellout. You are Uncle Tom. You are a coon. You acting like a coon in these streets because all your friends don't look like you. And you ain't even came to a BSU meeting. I love the fact that Aisha challenged him to kind of look at himself and take a step back. And just with like no filter, just bluntly told him like, look, this is why we feel this way about you and what you gonna do about it. Love Aisha. They're gonna be a perfect match for each other because Carlton needs somebody in his corner that's going to like call him out on his bullshit. You know what I mean? So I love that, and I love that she's challenging him to like kind of see things from a different perspective. So I'm really excited to see how like the Aisha and Carlton thing is gonna play out. I'm really excited to see how Carlton is gonna evolve after this episode, especially in you know, aligning himself with his blackness and just kind of realizing his his identity. You know what I mean? Let's talk about Hillary for a second. I'm not gonna lie, I'm hella disappointed in Hillary after this episode. I mean, and I can kind of get it to a certain extent. I need a little ice, hold on, getting a little dry. That was good. I can kind of get it to a certain extent because Hillary has the pressure of trying to pursue her dream. But the thing that I love the most about Hillary at the beginning of the season is that she was unwilling to like waver from her brand and who she is to be successful. You know what I mean? And now she's kind of pressured because she's in this influencer house, because she's burdened with the task of like creating content that everybody's gonna like to be able to stay into the house, and she's in this contract with them. And so I get it, but at the same time, like this episode really just kind of disappointed me when it came to her, because I'm like, Hillary gives like real boss vibes. But after, you know, the whole situation with her filming the sexy cooking video, you know, she filmed it, didn't post it or whatever, but then Kylo, which is the house owner, he ends up posting it because he has the ability to, and she was big mad about it. She was like, this is not my brand, this is not what I wanted out there, regardless of whatever attention is getting, and I want to keep my brand genuine and authentic. And I love that going throughout the episode. But then we get to the portion of the episode where she confronts Kylo and gets a little bit of praise for her video, and I'm just like, I can already see her about to sell out, especially when she was approached by 2 fans in the bar and they were like, we love the video, we love what you did, it's good to see a black woman doing XYZ, but that's not you, but you know, she was feeding into the sauce or whatever, and then Kylo was selling it, and you know, he mentioned the Victoria's Secret campaign, and she was like, oh well, let me hear about a little bit more about that. And I was just kind of like, no, like stay true to yourself, Hillary. And I don't know what the future has in store for her character and like her arc, but I do feel like she's gonna lose herself for a little bit, because let's face it, we all do. We're pressured every single day by social media and being successful, and we're driven and motivated by the likes and comments and engagement that we get on social media. So I get it, I understand it fully, but I think that I would have just preferred to see her remain true to herself, and then eventually discovering the success that she wants, because why? Why? Hillary, I'm disappointed in you. And then the interaction that she had with Jazz, who was a very good friend of her, and seeing their romantic interest develop, like even in this episode, was just like beautiful to watch. Seeing their interaction after that situation where he takes her to the bar, just be there to support her, and confronting Kylo, and you know, all of that was just like really nice. And then after that, it's just like, oh, but you just got on social media yesterday, you ain't gonna understand, and what, I'll give you gas money. It's like, that's so disrespectful. Like, I can't believe she did that. And I'm like, that really just disappointed me. But I still love Hillary. I'm still here for Hillary. I'm really rooting for Jazz and Hillary. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of tonight's episode, which was Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv. I'm gonna try my hardest not to sit on any kind of pedestal while I'm discussing this, because I just feel like my opinion is not the popular opinion. So in last night's episode, we saw a lot when it came to Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv. The episode started out with a meeting between Uncle Phil, his campaign manager, and Aunt Viv. In the meeting, they were basically discussing that because Fred is now in the runs for district attorney against Uncle Phil, that some of his donations have pulled back. You know, it's kind of splitting votes between them when it comes to the black population, and then also when it comes to like endorsements and donations. So Uncle Phil naturally is having to put more of their money into the campaign, which makes sense completely. But what was revealed during the meeting was that this wasn't a meeting to discuss being able to, you know, take some of the family's money to invest into the campaign. I'm gonna present it to you, Vivian, like it's, you know, we're a partnership and we're a team. But really, I already took the money from my account, as he referred to it as, and that shit was not cool at all. And then there's also a slap in the face when he called their account it's from my account, and it's like, oh, it's your account now. Okay, bet, cool. I really hated the fact that Aunt Viv decided to go to the art event or the art expo in spite, kind of like without telling Uncle Phil, kind of in spite, because it's like, if you're wanting to attend this art expo, just kind of breathe life into your dreams again, then let it be for that. Don't let it be because, oh, I'm gonna go now because, well, I want to do this, but I'm also gonna do it because Phil don't consider me anyway. You know what I mean? I feel like when you move in anything in spite, then it's not a genuine movement, first of all, and then I feel like it's just kind of doomed, because it's like, you only decided to do it because you were being spiteful. Not saying that she didn't want to do it for herself, but she like, well, you want to play, I can play too. And I just feel like that tit for tat is just kind of like unhealthy. Every movement that you make when it pertains to your dreams should be something that's genuine. And I also want to say this: if Aunt Viv cheats with Reed, I am going to be devastated. And you want to know why? It's a lot of people out there like, she need to cheat, she need to do this, it's Michael Ealy, blah blah blah. Like, stop. No, like, y'all can miss me with all that. First of all, if she gets to the point where she feels like she needs to cheat, she needs to just leave Uncle Phil alone. Like, she need to leave or separate or do whatever she needs to do before that, because I feel like this. I feel like the legacy of Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv has been so healthy historically, like for the culture. It shows us what a healthy interaction between husband and wife is, you know. So I feel like it's been important for the culture, and so I would like for this series to kind of like keep that intact. So I think it's good to see like the trials and tribulations that they have, Absolutely. I don't think that she should cheat. I feel like this is just going to tarnish their legacy. I feel like what's being shown now are things that present themselves in marriages and relationships. But I feel like it doesn't need to go any further. And I'm sorry for those of you guys out there who are like encouraging Aunt Viv to cheat. No, I don't stand by it. One thing I will say that annoyed me about this episode was Uncle Phil popping up at the expo after talking to Jeffrey. Because it's just like, why are you here? Like, if you're not here to be supportive to your wife, to show her that you care about her career and dreams, then you should stay your ass at home. You basically showed up to this event just to kind of have a pissing contest with this guy, and it's just like, for what? Like, you're already married to her. Just change your interactions with your wife. Let her know that you care about her artwork. Let her know that you care about her dreams, as opposed to like trying to compete with Reed. For what? Like, why are you competing with this man? Why? Show your wife that you actually care. That's the way to compete. Because Reed is letting her know that he cares about her artwork. It seems like everything that he's doing is just kind of to undermine her efforts to get back into pursuing her dreams. And so I didn't like that. But we're not about to sit here and put all the blame on Uncle Phil. Like, we just really not. So glad that they had like this radical honesty moment and they actually talked and communicated for a change. Because I feel like a lot of the issues that have been presented is because of the fact that the communication has not been there. And I guess because Vivian hasn't really decided that she really knows what she wants to do with her career. I think a lot of it just stemmed from her not opening up and being honest about how she's feeling and how like his decision has affected her. So with that being said, like, Uncle Phil is not a mental telepathist. Like, it ain't no way that he's trying to he's tapping into her thoughts to know what she's thinking. As revealed in their conversation, basically when she decided, or when she was feeling overwhelmed with pressures of being a mom and also trying to pursue her career as an artist, you know, she was feeling that burnout. And I felt burnout with my business and everything. So I understand completely how that feels. And I think that it is very important to take the time to step away and just kind of reevaluate things. But I don't like the fact that she basically was putting all the blame on Uncle Phil. And and I feel like a lot of people sees this differently. Like he should be seeing her in XYZ. I feel like he was doing what he felt like as a husband he should have done. When she was feeling that stress and burnout, he basically was like, look, if you don't want to do this, then you really ain't got to work another day in your life. You know, I'll take care of you. I'll do XYZ for you. Because as a partner, you want to minimize, especially when you have the means, you want to minimize the stress that your partner has. So if, you know, the problem that you're having right now is the fact that you're experiencing burnout and stress and you're not happy, then what can I do to make you happy? It was her decision to wait 15 years before she decided that she wanted to pursue it again. I'm guessing she wanted him to be like, you know, fight for it. But when you're coming to me and you're complaining about, you know, the stress that you're having as your husband, I'm gonna be like, you know what, you ain't gotta worry about it, because I got it. I got you. You know, when you're ready to get back out there and pursue things again, then absolutely. We as creatives, we experience burnout. Everybody experiences burnout, but that don't mean experience it for 15 years. Like, you can't put all the blame on him. But the issue that I find with Uncle Phil is that he tries to be everybody's savior, and you can't save everybody. You know what I mean? I feel like they both play a role in the way, or the reason why that their relationship is strained right now, or is derailed. Like, they both play a role, but I feel like the unanimous consensus between the audience is that the fact that Uncle Phil is a problem. He is. I just really don't see him being the problem. I believe that he sees it as, you know, she told me she was having this issue, experiencing this burnout. Look, this is what you can do. You know, focus on XYZ, and then when you're in a better state, pursue your art again. Maybe she wanted somebody that was gonna tell her to fight for it, but that doesn't feel like the way Uncle Phil thinks, if that makes sense. Because if you're coming to him with the issue, with him being a solver, he's gonna pursue it with his role of trying to protect you or trying to save you. So you can't put all the blame on him. So I really would like for y'all to stop putting all the blame on him. It's both sides. The communication just ain't been there. That's a both sides thing. So they need to come together, maybe to do some marriage therapy, counseling, something to kind of get back on track. But y'all gonna stop trying to call Uncle Phil out. He doesn't have the only hand in this, okay? Y'all gonna stop this today. And the thing that ended the episode was after the beautiful intimate moment that Lisa and Will shared. Carlton finds out that they were upstairs in the room together. He doesn't know what they were doing in the room, but obviously you can tell because Lisa came downstairs, I don't know why, with her jacket unbuttoned. She wasn't like that the entire night, so you already know what that was. Will just had his t-shirt on, jacket was not on, you know, like, so it obviously something was going on. That clothes were missing, clothes were disheveled and missing. So Carlton can only assume, which he's right if he'd assumed that, you know, they were out upstairs doing the shaboinker. Okay. I really hate that he found out that way. I really wish that they had just let him know. In situations like that, you just gotta rip the band-aid off and just say it. Especially when it's a situation where it's just better all around if that person finds out about a situation from you. I really don't know what's gonna happen moving forward, but my predictions, especially after Carlton's run-in with the police, which was a really tough scene to watch, it's obvious that Carlton lives in this Bel Air bubble, and he probably has never really experienced a run-in with the police before. And so to be treated like a black person by the police when, you know, you kind of navigating your identity in anyway, I'm sure that was very tough on him. And like, he's telling them like, this is my house, like I live here. They're like, shut up, you don't. How can you afford it? Basically is what they were saying. So I think that that's going to be traumatic for him. I think that he's definitely going to regress for a little bit when it comes to you know, him being so vengeful. He is a vengeful little person, little man. He is vengeful. He's probably going to tell Lisa the real reason why Will is in Bel Air. That's probably going to happen. But I think that they will be able to reestablish their connection at some point, obviously, because that's just how it happens. I think that once Lisa finds out about Will's reason for being there, she's gonna feel like he lied to her, which he essentially did. And they're probably gonna break up, to be honest. They're probably gonna break up for a little while. What else? I think that Hillary is going to go on a spiral of losing herself just to pursue her dreams, her career. Which we all do, and it's relatable. I just really hate that because I loved how strong-willed she was and just relentless. And seeing that, especially in last night's episode, was really hard for me. But I think that she's going to lose herself a little bit. I think that things will get better with Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv eventually. But when she finds out that he's the reason he's the reason why her artwork sold, that's going to cause some issues. Because if you remember in last episode, when Reed encouraged her to enter her artwork into the silent auction, Phil went and bid on it after seeing Reed bid on it. And again, this pissing contest for what? But when she finds that out, she's going to be heartbroken, definitely, because she's going to feel like she falsely went into pursuing her career as an artist again. She's probably going to feel like her work isn't worthy. What happened to the painting? Like, did Phil get it and just hide it somewhere? Or like, what happened to it? But that would be horrible. Like, that would really be horrible. I think that that's going to cause an issue. Also, I think that after Lisa basically admitted to her father that she was at the Banks house at the party, that she's gonna be in some trouble with her parents. There's gonna be there's some issues between Fred and Lisa and Will and his uncle, and like it's gonna be a lot there. So and I feel like a lot of that is gonna come to a head when Lisa finds out about Will's main or reason for being in Bel Air. Only time will tell. I'm really excited about next week's episode. If you like it, then let me know in the comment section. Let me know that you want to continue to see these, and I will absolutely do them. If you guys like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Scroll on down the page a little bit more, find the subscribe button, click subscribe. While you're at it, there's a bell icon right beside the subscribe button. Click that. That way you can be notified each and every time I upload a new video. If you have watched this far into the video, I want you to drop the monkey emoji with him covering his eyes. Drop that monkey emoji. Let me know that you watched the entire video, that you stuck through it. I really valued hearing what I have to say because that means so much to me. So again, if you watched the whole video, drop that emoji in the comment section. I'll show you some love. But also check out the description box. There you'll find links to all of my social media, so that way you can follow me everywhere that I am, and I do follow back. But anyway, until next time, guys, I am out. Bye.